Hello beautiful, and thank you for clicking on today's video. On this channel, I've talked to you from time to time about minimalism and purchasing power that comes with becoming a minimalist. I've talked about money that I've wasted before becoming minimalist. I've talked about money that I've wasted after becoming minimalist, but I've never talked about some of the things that minimalism and living this type of lifestyle have allowed me to purchase that are a little bit higher dollar, that I've not only not regretted, but very much loved that I was able to purchase. Let's go ahead and get started. Number one, speaking of bed sheets, are my bed sheets. So I currently have two sets of bed sheets. One of them is more as like a emergency bed sheet for when I don't do laundry as quickly as I want to. But the main set of bed sheets that I use are a high quality linen. Now, my sheets were expensive for a couple of reasons. Number one is I have a California king bed. First off, not all sheets are made for California king beds. It usually goes twin, full, queen, king, and then stops there. But my bed is a little bit bigger than that, so most sheets aren't even made for California kings. And then the ones that are, due to the fact that the material is more expensive, and they're not ordering as much inventory because not that many people have California king beds. It's more expensive for that reason, just outright. Additionally, my bed sheets are made out of a very high quality, ethically sourced linen. I've done a little bit of research regarding sleeping and comfort of sleep, and I determined that linen was one of the best materials overall for heat management. Now, I don't know about you guys, who you sleep next to as far as your partner, or if you sleep alone, but my husband, who I sleep next to every single night, is hotter than the sun. His body radiates heat so much so that I think if we were in Russia and the heater went out, if I just stayed next to him, I probably wouldn't die. This man is like at 5,000 Kelvin at any given time of the evening, and I don't like to be warm when I sleep. So linen is a very good choice, not only for breathability and comfort on your skin in general, similar to cotton, but it's way better than cotton as far as heat management. So for those reasons, I opted to get a set of California king linen sheets, and they've washed well, they've aged well, they honestly look really good, which I know is kind of like a side effect, not so important, but they do look really good. Comfortable sleep and comfortable temperature for sleep. So this is an item that racked up, I believe the price was around $200, which is kind of ludicrous for a set of sheets. But my mom always taught me that if you can, you should spend your money on the things that tie you to the earth. So like your car tires, your shoes, your bed sheets, the things that are in between you and the earth. Does that at all make sense? Did anyone else's mom tell them that? Anyway, bed sheets, expensive purchase, great purchase, and they look brand new since the day I got them. So that's that on that. Quick editor's note before we get started. I did put a lot of disclaimers for this video at the end of the video because when they were in the middle of the video in my natural speech, it was getting very, very rambly. So if you need those or you want anything like that, it's at the end. Number two is actually the home that I'm currently sitting in. I gave up avocado toast and fancy coffee for 1 full year, and with all of that money collected, I was able to buy a full 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. Just kidding, that's ridiculous. If you think that millennials can buy a home by giving up coffee and avocado toast, you are dumb. Like, I have no other way to say it. If you think that's the reason millennials aren't buying houses right now, you are poorly educated on the topic of what is going on in the economy right now regarding house buying. But that's neither here nor there. That is not how I came to be able to afford to buy my house. Both my husband and I are pretty good with managing money as far as assets and resources. We've both self-educated ourselves in regards to the game that is the American economic system and how to manage money and play with money like how millionaires do. And for that reason, and in addition to that, not spending excess on a bunch of impulse purchases that accumulate over a calendar year, we were able to buy a home I would say younger than average for our particular age group, which not only is a really nice feeling because we don't have to move so often anymore because our rent isn't getting hiked up every year, but it's also a sense of security financially because in the United States, home ownership is one of the safest investments you can make because more often than not, the investment goes up. So for all of those reasons, and also for having a house in general to, have a safe haven, a place to live. For all those reasons, I'm really happy to have been able to buy this house. Number 3 on the list is very near and dear to my heart, and I hope that this company will sponsor me soon because I actually did a full 180 on how I felt about this company over the course of like 2 years. So let me explain. Number 3 is basically higher quality produce and higher quality meat. So it's not really up for debate, nor is it really secret that the United States puts a lot of excess things in our food that most other countries have deemed to be harmful and therefore illegal. So what I choose to do and what I'm able to do is buy higher quality meats and produce, which I feel like overall are healthier, and it's kind of like bang for your buck because if you treat your body well now and you're healthy now, you're going to have less medical bills later on. So it's kind of a double win. Not only am I saving money in the long run, but I'm treating my body well now. The company that I'd like to shout out, even though I'm not sponsored and I have no referral link for you guys, but it's ButcherBox. So ButcherBox is a company that has sort of the highest level of standards in the US, along with some of their own standards that are even higher than what the US deems appropriate for meat, produce, fish, etc. I'm not sure everything they sell. I usually get chicken, beef, and pork from them, sometimes shrimp and salmon. But not only is the meat very high quality, it genuinely tastes better and it's delivered to my door once a month. So all around it's a good thing. And in truth, it's not that much more expensive. I get a box of meat once a month that lasts the entire month for around $150, maybe $160. And I really feel like if you can allot this luxury, treating your body well with the type of food that you put in it is overall like a very good thing. And overall, like I said before, will save you money in medical bills later on. I highly recommend them as a service. I actually, to go on a bit of a tangent, about 2 years ago, I signed up for ButcherBox via like a YouTube referral link, and the customer service was like god awful. I had such a frustrating experience that I like swore off of them forever. And then a couple years went by, I started seeing more recent reviews of the company, and I decided to give it another shot. And I gotta tell you, customer service, top notch, quality of food, top notch. So I'll leave a link for them down below. It's not a referral link or anything, unless I can figure out a way to get a referral link. But great company, great food, great for your health. And that's something that I don't think that I would have even thought to spend my money on before being a minimalist, because I would have been spending my money on other random crap throughout the month. Oh, and then I didn't even mention produce. So my produce, I don't have a service for produce being delivered to my house, but as far as produce, I do try to get most of my produce from stores that have things that are locally grown. But I also get a lot of things from the farmer's market, which is not always more expensive. Sometimes it is though. So to be able to have that luxury of not only not having food insecurity, which isn't a guarantee in the United States, but to have higher quality food than even what the US sort of deems appropriate, it's really a luxury that I highly would recommend if you can afford it. And I'm really, really grateful that it's something that I'm able to do for my family. Editing me here, one day I will make a video where I don't need to make an appearance, but I wanted to explain what I mean by the USA standards regarding food. So like I said, the USA has some things like food preservatives, food pesticides, and food dyes that are legal within the United States because the FDA hasn't ruled them to be illegal yet. But they are illegal in most other countries, like the entire EU, Russia, South America for the most part, Canada, etc. But specifically with meat and like poultry, a lot of the terms that are used in USA Foods marketing doesn't really mean what you think it means. So a perfect example of this is like free range chickens. When you hear free range, you think that they have free roam in like a grassy field on a farm. But by legal standpoint, they, I believe, only have to have like an extra 2 feet of space to roam compared to chickens that don't have that free range standing. I'll put the actual thing here, but it's not significant. So ButcherBox has standards that are even higher than what the USA and like marketing and stuff have set. So that's what I mean. Number 3, 4, not entirely sure. I'll put it in post. But that is luxury coffee. So when I say luxury coffee, I don't mean going to Starbucks every single day. I mean being able to have a coffee setup in my home with high quality coffee beans that are ethically sourced and fair trade. I have a pour over, I have a French press, I have a very nice grinder for coffee, and I typically buy high quality coffee beans. And all of that is made possible by the fact that I'm not spending my money frivolously in other regions of my life. I've decided that coffee is a priority in my life, and even more so, just like with food, meat, and produce, having high quality coffee is a priority in my life. So yes, I would say a couple times a month I do go out to get fancy coffee, but more often than not I have fancy coffee at home because I can afford to do so, as I've prioritized it as something more important in my life. That is medical bills. So this one hits very close to home because very recently I had to spend a lot of money on sort of a medical catastrophe that I had. In fact, I talk about it in a story time in a Q&A Get Ready With Me that has already been posted, so I'll go ahead and link that down below. There's timestamps for it. I believe the story time starts at about the halfway mark. It's a very long video. I digress. But being able to afford a medical catastrophe like that is, again, a luxury that most Americans are not allotted. In fact, there was a survey done, I believe, 3 or 4 years ago, where it was determined that most Americans couldn't take on a $400 emergency without it having to go to collections or a credit card or what have you. And I think it's such a privilege that I am able to handle a medical catastrophe and not, I mean, I still have the cost in the front of my mind because in the United States, medical catastrophes are very expensive, but it doesn't prevent me from going to the hospital or going to the doctor like it has historically in the past. Hey, I just wanted to pop in here in case you don't go watch that long video I made when I was sort of going through the medical issues that I was going through. But I'm perfectly fine now. It was just a skin condition that sort of cropped up. I had a drug-related rash, and then once I was off the drugs, the rash went away. So I'm totally fine now. It was just sort of an up and down roller coaster of many different doctor's appointments, trying to figure out what was wrong while it was wrong. Also, it wasn't like thousands and thousands of dollars, so don't be worried about me, because I do have pretty good insurance. Even though I have good insurance, I still paid more money than I should have because the tax of being American. So I'm okay, don't worry about me, bye. Again, this isn't exclusively to minimalism. This is also partly because of the income that my husband and I make, the knowledge that we have with money management, and minimalism, living a little bit more intelligently with our budget, not living above our means, etc. So being able to handle a medical catastrophe when it comes to your doorstep, because these things are never planned. They just sort of walk up one day and give you a swift kick in the ass. To be able to take that on and not have it be where I'm worrying about how I'm going to be able to make my house payment because of it, I can't begin to explain not only what a luxury that is, especially in this country. If you're not in the US, you're probably like, yeah, well, free healthcare, have you heard of it? Yeah, we're trying to get it. There's just a lot of people that are against it for some reason. I think it's because it's misunderstood, but that's neither here nor there. It's such a luxury to be able to afford it at all even more so to have it not bankrupt you. And I thank minimalism and good money management for the ability to do that. And I hope that through some of my advice on my social media, I can help other people get to that place as well. So that's enough rambling on that. Next on the list is travel. So travel is the kind of thing that I think most people enjoy doing. I have some family members that don't see the need to leave the United States or even really the state or county they live in. So if you're that person, then this probably won't apply to you. You can insert whatever expensive thing you want to spend money on here. But minimalism and being more cognizant of the things that I need and also needing less because of minimalism have allowed me and my husband to travel more. Now, travel is a little bit different for us because my husband's family is international, so we travel a lot to interact with them. However, when we do, we're typically going someplace different on this earth every time. And travel is overall pretty expensive. And we don't do it all the time, nor do we do it as much as I would love to. I would love to travel like every month if I could, and I'm not quite there yet, nor do I think I'll ever be. But the ability to be able to go on a vacation once a year, yet alone international, is really, really special. And I'm really glad that I'm able to do it because not only has it helped me, I think, become more well-rounded and tolerant/educated as a person, but it's like really fun. So travel is definitely a big one. What's good is we do save money on travel a lot of the time because we typically go carry-on only. We typically take the cheap airlines, you know, what have you. I'd love to get to a point in my life where I could spend more money and maybe get business class or like have a checked bag or what have you, and not have it be really considered. I'm not quite there yet, but the ability to travel at all, such a luxury, such a privilege, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to do that. And I do think that is in part to minimalist money spending, money management, and not feeling like I need more stuff, rather more experiences. And that wasn't a mindset that I've always had. I will say I attribute a lot of that to the minimalist mindset switch. Don't take a shot every time I say minimalist, unless it's just a shot of water, because then you might die. And that is going to be it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already, and ask any questions that you have for me down below, and I'll see you next week. Bye! And I never want this to come across like I'm bragging or like I'm saying minimalism is the fix-all for your money troubles, because it's not. If anybody tries to convince you of that, they're wrong. It's just highlighting the fact that living with less and having more expendable income because of that has allowed me to make better choices in areas that are most important to me. So if it comes off as like pompous or entitled, I apologize. That is not my intent. It's just, I kind of thought this would be an interesting video, so I decided to make it. You can let me know in the comments below if I'm an asshole. I do think it's worth mentioning that oftentimes when people jump both feet into minimalism, they get this sort of notion, myself included, that from this point on you need to have the best quality of everything. That way it's the best, longest lasting, highest quality, etc. However, I find that it's better, unless you're like a bazillionaire, to strike a balance for things that are most commonly used and price per use. So let's say you don't ever leave the country internationally, maybe once every couple years. You probably don't need like a designer or high quality passport holder. However, a good place to maybe spend money to get something high quality would be like your shoes that you wear every day to work, or your bed sheets, or your food. So it's all about striking that balance. So this isn't to say that once you become minimalist, you have all kinds of expendable income, but I will say that managing money through the lens of minimalism and the lifestyle that I live has allowed me to make better choices with certain things, and I wanted to talk about that with you today. So